Fox 56 presents Stir It Up with your host, Jennifer Palumbo.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Stir It Up. This week, our theme is Healthy Never Tasted So Good. Liz Denham, a graduate of Sullivan University's Culinary Arts program, is back with us. Fish tacos, and this is a great meal. It can serve a family of four, and it's inexpensive as well.
Very inexpensive. I think this whole meal today is going to be right around $15, maybe a little less, and it also depends on what type of fish you use, but today we're using cod, and for this whole fillet we only paid $5.
Excellent. That's what we like to hear, inexpensive.
So what we're going to start off doing today is we're going to make our tortillas from scratch. It is very simple, and once you have them homemade, you'll never want to buy them at the store again. So all we have here is 2 cups of masa harina, and that is just a Hispanic corn flour. It's just ground up cornmeal, and we have a teaspoon of salt we're going to pinch in there.
This is our kosher salt.
Little kosher salt. And then right here we have a 1 1/4 cup of water and a teaspoon of shortening. And that's it. And you boil the water and you let the shortening melt in there. And we went ahead and did that because we want it to cool off a little bit because it's pretty hot. And then you really just get in there with your hands and work it around like you would any dough. And this is going to be our dough for a tortilla. And I never really cared for a corn tortilla before, but once I made them from scratch when I was in school, I realized why everybody loves them. They're delicious, they're very pliable, and it just, eating them or making them from scratch instead of buying them at the stores, it's really a huge difference.
Yeah, in taste and in the cost as well.
In taste, in texture, and in cost. A pound of masa harina runs about $1.50.
You can get masa harina anywhere?
You can get it at mostly Mexican grocery stores. Some specialty grocery stores might have it in their international section, but most grocerias and places like that, which we do have quite a few around town, you can buy it, and it's very inexpensive and it's very easy. And that came together so quickly. And we could really go right from this stage and make the tortilla, but we're going to let our dough rest while we move on to the other components of our dish. So that's it. I mean, look how easy that was. You can't make bread dough that fast. So the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to wash my hands really quick, is we're just going to marinate our fish a little bit to impart some flavor.
You bought cod.
Yes.
I mean, would you use different types of fish, or do you prefer cod for the fish tacos?
You could use anything. The reason why I picked cod is it has a little bit of a meatier texture. Tilapia would work, mahi-mahi would be great in this. But really, you know, like we say with most recipes, it's just what your taste buds are about. You know, if you like salmon a lot, then do a salmon fish taco. The first time I had fish tacos was in Colorado at a taco place called Wahoo's Fish Tacos, and they do it with mahi-mahi, and it is delicious. And I've been trying to recreate that ever since I had them.
We're trying today.
Yes.
And a reminder to people to make sure that your fish passes the smell test, or the lack of smell test.
It needs to, I mean, you can smell it a tiny bit right now, but if it knocks you down with a fishy aroma, do not eat it. Just trust your instincts, take it back to the store, and pick out another fish. And locally, you know, Charlie's is a great place to get safe, fresh fish.
On Winchester Road in Lexington, right?
So all we're going to do here is we're going to cut our fish into cubes. We're going to want it a little bit smaller. And then we're going to dust it in some seasoning and let that hang out for a little bit. And you know, a lot of fish tacos are fried, but we're just going to pan sear these.
I like
and
that better.
Will cut down on the fat.
Healthier.
It's very healthy. And with the corn tortillas too, there's only 1 teaspoon of shortening in that whole batch, and we'll probably get 15 to 20 tortillas out of that. So that's a very small amount of fat at all in those tortillas. So we're just going to cube the rest of this fish up. And another thing when you're doing this type of dish, you know, it depends on what your butcher has at the grocery store. So you might go in wanting cod and they don't have it that week, so you need to just be flexible. Any white fish that's meaty, you don't want a real thin fillet. You want something just a little thicker.
And you recommend, as opposed to buying it prepackaged where you can't tell how it smells, to go to the grocery store and buy it from the butcher, and that way you can make sure it's exactly what you want and the quality that you want.
You know, most of us have a grocery store we frequent every time for our groceries. You can build up a rapport with your butcher and say, what's your freshest fish today?
Right.
And they will be happy to do that, and the more you get to know them, you know, they might have something in the back they haven't even put out yet.
It's a good resource, too.
It's a good resource, and that's what chefs do a lot of times is you get to know your purveyor, and they know what you like and what quality you expect, and they'll provide that. Now, we're using a little bit of lime juice in this. Whenever you add an acid to a protein, especially fish, you only want to let it marinate for about 15 to 20 minutes tops, because the acid will actually start to cook your fish.
Oh, okay. And you just squeeze the juice of half a lime.
Half a lime.
Okay.
And then if you want, take that chili powder and just sprinkle some over the fish.
Oh.
Probably should have opened it for you. Yeah. And this is just going to give the fish extra flavor. White fish is very mild, and it takes on whatever flavors you impart into it. So it's going to have a little bit of lime, some cilantro, salt and pepper, and that's it. And then when we saute it, those flavors will already be in the fish.
Say when.
Just get it pretty liberal on there. Okay. We want a nice thick coat.
And this is, okay, chili powder.
And you could blend your own chili powder together. So we're gonna let this marinate and hang out, and when we come back, we'll move on to the other components.
All right, stay with us. We're working and making healthy, never tasted so good when we come back here on Stir It Up. Welcome back. Our cod is marinating about 15 minutes, you say, to let it sit?
Yeah, that's all it really needs. It's a really mild fish, and it'll take on those flavors really quickly.
We have a lot going on. We have to make pico de gallo, the tortillas, the rice. So
slaw.
You're going to start off with the slaw.
Yes.
And what goes
well, I'm
into
going to start with the pico de gallo, and then we're going to roll into the slaw.
Okay.
Which pico de gallo is just tomato, cilantro, onion. It's really simple, but it adds so much color and flavor. And you see it on almost every Mexican dish. So today we've got red onions. We're just gonna mince them up really fine. And I picked out heirloom tomatoes. You don't normally see that, but it adds a little bit of flavor and some extra color, and that's never a bad thing. We always eat with our eyes first. So we have some red tomatoes, some yellow tomatoes, and some stripies, which are really beautiful. And it's so simple. And you know, if you have tomato garden or you take a trip down to the farmer's market, this is a great time of year for this dish. This dish doesn't work as well in the wintertime because you only have the hothouse tomatoes, which have no flavor.
And why do you like heirloom?
They're just more colorful. I don't necessarily only like heirloom. That's just what I chose today because they were just really beautiful. The yellow and the red mixed together. And the flavor is very slight. There's a very slight variance. My son doesn't care for the yellow tomatoes. He says they're too sour. But in a savory dish like this, I think they really go well.
If you can get your 6-year-old to eat a tomato, whatever color, do it.
He loves tomatoes. He calls them tomato bombs.
Your son loves tomatoes, my son loves raw onions, and they're the perfect combination.
So we just chop some of that up. And then if you want to, just pick that cilantro apart. We don't even, this is off, so we can put it here.
Okay.
We don't even have to chop this. It's kind of like basil, where if you cut it too fine, you know, bruising starts to happen and oxidation.
So I'm just trying to separate it from the stem?
Yeah, just pick it apart a little bit and throw it in there. I love cilantro. It's so yummy. And that's it. Pico de gallo's done.
Perfect.
We're gonna throw a little salt in there. We're gonna squeeze a little lime juice. Lime juice is in almost everything we're making today. Oh, did I get your eye?
It's all good.
So from there, we are going to move on to our tangy lime slaw.
Okay.
Which, this is just the way I had it when I had fish tacos the first time. Instead of lettuce, it's cabbage. It gives a nice crunch, and you can really season it up any way you like it. And sometimes I'll do purple and green cabbage. Today we're just gonna do the green. And you just chop it like you would a normal slaw. So we're just gonna shave down, nice fine shave, because you don't want too big of a bite in there. And this is just gonna give us that crunch we need because we're not frying the fish, so it's gonna be soft. The tortillas are griddled, so they're pretty soft, so we want some extra texture in there.
You could fry the fish, but we're just choosing not to make it a little bit healthier.
Yes, this is, you know, practically a low-fat meal. We are gonna put a little sour cream on at the end, but it's also low-fat. And this is a very high in protein, low-fat meal, great for the summer, great if you're watching your weight, or, you know, we all could eat a little healthier.
Right. Well, and you get the omega-3 fatty acids from the fish, too.
Exactly.
Fish is always a great source of protein for the meal.
And we're making brown rice. We have that almost finished over here. And we just threw a couple chilies in with the rice to impart some extra flavor. People don't think about that, and we can pull them out at the end or chop them up. And they're really not spicy, but it'll add that extra flavor to it. So there we have our cabbage. And if you want to, pick a little cilantro off for that too, just a little bit. I go cilantro crazy with my Mexican dishes. And I'm just gonna plank these carrots and cut them up. You could also run these through the food processor to save a little time. And you know, this is a lot of components to this dish, but it really comes together quite quickly.
Yeah, this is a very simple meal.
It's simple, and it just takes a little preparation, and you could do all your knife cuts ahead of time and then just throw everything together at the end. The slaw can always sit in the refrigerator for a little while to let the flavors marry.
And you made those tortillas in under 3 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they will cook really quickly too. We're gonna cook some up. We have our beans going. We just threw a little chili powder in there. We're gonna turn our pan on and get our fish.
Do I need a little more?
That's good.
Okay.
We're just gonna throw some of these carrots in there. So bring that slaw back over to me.
Okay.
Throw our carrots in there. A little salt. A little bit of our favorite pepper. And then again, just some lime juice. We're also gonna put a little rice vinegar in here, and this will give us, I always like acid with my fish. So this will give us that tang, the crunch, and the rice vinegar is just a more mild vinegar than an apple cider vinegar.
I've never used that before, so it's...
Yeah, and it's random to use in a Mexican dish, but I just find that it really works well in this application.
Okay.
So we're just
Here
gonna
goes
put
our
our
cod.
fish in there. And we're just gonna let those sit for a minute before we stir them too much. We have some canola oil in there.
Oh, it smells good.
So it is low in fat in the oil. And then next we're going to roll up some tortillas. Slide all this out of the way. And get our tortillas going.
About how long do we let the fish go?
It's cut into such small pieces, it's probably gonna cook in about 4 minutes.
Okay.
So let me just slide this out of the way. We're gonna get our tortilla back over here. And I'm just gonna grab.
And you let the tortillas sit for how long?
We're gonna let those sit for about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Now we know our countertop is clean. We've been using cutting boards.
Don't want any cross-contamination.
No, and normally we'd want to do this with a tortilla press or just some plastic wrap, but we're just gonna make it happen today. So now I'm just gonna knead this a little bit. We'll turn this on.
Okay.
We're gonna turn our heat. This is just a cast iron skillet. You could also use an electric griddle. It's just a flat surface. We want to get a nice heat on it. And we're just going to roll our tortilla. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It is homemade.
And cast iron, you clean different than a normal
You do.
pot. What tips do you have for people about taking care of cast iron?
Well, you never want to immerse it in water.
Okay.
The best way to clean it is some kosher salt and a towel.
Oh, okay. I hadn't heard that.
And after you clean it, you do rinse it and dry it, and then throw it back in the oven, a low oven, with some more oil on it and let it get re-seasoned. Because the best thing about cast iron is when it's old and it has built up a good, what they call season on it.
All right, stay with us. We are making fish tacos and more when we come back here on Stir It Up. Welcome back to Stir It Up. This week we are focusing on healthy foods, and your diet plays an important role in your overall health. A lot of people have food allergies and sensitivities and may not even know it. Jody Reeves is the Director of Patient Services with the Abundant Living Health Clinic here in Lexington. And what are some of the warning signs for people who may be watching that they have a food allergy or sensitivity?
It can be migraines, it can be fatigue, it can be tiredness, like right after you eat. You'll find that in the afternoons you usually are not eating really healthy. You'll pick bad choices and things like that. And it can be a lot of the things in the processed foods that we eat that can cause tiredness, and doing a food sensitivity will help alleviate that symptom.
And the food sensitivities and allergies can also trigger other disorders. What are some of the disorders that are affected by diet?
ADHD is also affected, rheumatoid arthritis, migraines, headaches, inflammation, bloatiness can all be symptoms of sensitivities to foods that you're eating.
What are some of the ways that Abundant Living can help patients? When they come to you, what do you do to determine what the problem is?
We can actually do a blood test. We can test for 90 different things. We'll look at just chicken, meats, vegetables, fruits, and then you'll come back in about a week and be able to go over those testings with the certified nutritionist, so she can help you start detoxing or eliminating those things from your diet.
What are some of the results that you've seen in patients who've already had this done?
It's amazing, because once they start cutting out a lot of the foods that they were eating, they'll notice that the bloatiness goes away and they're not as tired in the afternoon because they're making better choices for their bodies.
How can people find out more? How can they reach you at Abundant Living?
They can call us at 859-263-4900 to schedule their free consultation, or they can also go to the website at abundantlivingmedical.com to get more information there.
All right, Jody Reeves with the Abundant Living Medical Clinic, thank you so much for being here. And stay with us, there's more to come here on Stir It Up. Welcome back to Stir It Up. We are calling this show Healthy Never Tasted So Good, and we're getting ready to put it all together. So Liz, take us through again everything that went into this, the fish tacos, the pico de gallo, the slaw, and how we made this all into a meal.
We have cod that we marinated in a little bit of lime, cilantro, chili powder, salt and pepper. We have brown rice that we steamed with some chilies, and we took the chilies out, but it imparts some flavor without any extra fat. We have black beans that we cooked, again, with some chili powder, salt and pepper, really simple.
Black beans, good source of protein, and the brown rice, healthier than the white rice.
Yeah, it's high in iron, and actually together it makes a complex protein. So even for vegetarians, beans and rice, that's why it's such a staple. It's very good for you. It's high in iron, high in protein. We also have pico de gallo, which is just tomatoes, onions, cilantro, a little lime juice. And then we have our tangy slaw, which is just cabbage, a little rice wine vinegar, cilantro, salt and pepper, and a few carrots. And we're gonna show 2 different ways to plate it. We took our tortillas that we made from scratch, and these we cut into little circles. And we're gonna plate this like a Napoleon, which is just a stack. So we're gonna take a little bit of our cod, and this is just a different way to do it, and you know, you don't have to eat it with your hands. You can use a fork and get in there. We're gonna do a little bit of our pico.
And we use the heirloom tomatoes, red onions,
cilantro, lime juice. We're gonna put just a little bit of the cabbage on this layer, just a little bit for crunch. And then we're gonna top it off with some chili and lime sour cream, and this is a fat-free.
You made that in the break, so tell everybody how we did this.
This is just the same chili powder, some lime juice, and sour cream. That's all it is, and this is a fat-free sour cream, so we're not adding any calories to the dish. We'll just add another tortilla and another layer, and that's it. And it'll just give you a different take on a taco.
This might be a little too messy for my children, but this looks really good.
This is good for a date night. It just classes up the taco a little bit. And then we're just gonna do the same thing with the layers. And you know, you can play with the flavors, and if you like more pico or less, you just do it however you like it. Do a little bit on there.
A double-decker fish taco.
Double-decker. A little more sour cream.
And you can get the recipe for this, of course, at foxlexington.com. And the way that we are making this would serve 4 people. So it's a good family meal, but also with all the ingredients that you bought, everything made from scratch, under $15.
I know,
that to me
it's
is
unbelievable.
one of the best parts of this meal. You get a good healthy meal for your family, but it's also inexpensive.
Yes, and that's what we love. You've got to, in these times, you know, food is really expensive. It goes up just like the oil prices. So anywhere you can save $1 and make a yummy meal. So you go right ahead.
I'm going to take that and you go ahead and make it.
And this one we're just going to do the traditional way.
There's not fish on the top of this, is there?
No.
Okay.
Do you need a knife or anything?
If I'm trying to do it like this, I might.
And this is fun because you can let the kids get in and build their own taco up the way they like to do it and make a little taco bar. That's always fun.
This is really good.
You like it? Fish tacos made easy.
And for our director/videographer, John Piesheimer, the Napoleon, it's dynamite. Sullivan.edu for more information about the Culinary Arts program. Thanks so much for joining us. The Kentucky Proud Kitchen comes your way at 11:30, and we'll see you next Sunday at 10:30 here on Fox 56.
Isn't that corn tortilla yummy?
It's delicious. I love this.
It's so different than buying a store-bought one.
Okay. I'll try this. Brown rice and beans. Did you like that, John?
You could get Anna in there on this one.
She would love this.
She could roll the tortillas
And
out.
she likes fish too.
Do you have a griddle at home, like an electric?
Yeah.
You can do the tortillas right on that at like 300.
The Electrolux Luxury Kitchen has been provided by P-Rats.